You're one step away from the entrepreneur level. This is why the E-Myth exists. And Michael Gerber says, you got that one person, you overwork them, they build systems out, eventually they leave or they die or they move on. Whatever happens, now you have a whole process of challenges on your hands because you don't know what procedures, resources, and templates they created. And next thing you know, that silo you've created, what happens if you build a silo too large? It's going to eventually tip and fall.
How can you help us, though, continue to help you? First, please subscribe to the channel. Like us. If you listen to the audio version, leave us a 5-star review wherever you can. If you see our posts, please share those posts, share the content, and link back to our law firm website, which helps us to continue our SEO marketing and grow our firm and help small business owners. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another show. I'm Mitch Beinhacker, your host. Welcome to The Accidental Entrepreneur. Today we have, actually Jackson he's American, but he's down in Ecuador when we're doing this show, which is kind of cool. We'll talk about that. Maybe he'll give me some brief things that he's doing down there. If you are listening on your favorite directory, wherever you can, leave us a 5-star review. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we're really trying to beef up the video side of things, beef up the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and like us and all that great stuff, right? And Jackson's helping us do that, so I appreciate that very much. Just to remind everybody, everything we discuss is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing we say is guaranteed for success, nor is it advice of any kind. If you're going to make decisions based on anything you hear on the show, always check with local licensed professionals before you do so. Jackson, thanks for joining me. Now, where do you live in the States?
Well, I have my apartment now down here in Ecuador, but I am from San Antonio, Texas. Okay. I am living down here.
There you go.
That's correct.
Nice. You said, though, you're on a humanitarian mission?
Yeah, I mean, really, that's my accidental entrepreneurship story in general as well. But yes, I mean, my vision is to bridge the economic gap between North America, South America, and the rest of the world. So that's what we live for every day.
Good luck. Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
We need it.
I know. So all the craziness of politics must drive you nuts.
Well, I try not to pay attention to what I can't control.
So. You're very smart.
I learned that lesson the stupid way.
All right. Well, why don't we get into your background? I know you've done some B2B stuff and different things in business and entrepreneurship, and then we can talk about all the stuff you're doing now and what Vision Pros are doing. All that stuff. For sure.
All right. Let's alienate people right away. So I was I was a horrible student. I was really, really smart, but probably somewhat self-righteous about it. And my university experience, I had a 0.37 GPA. I'm not proud of that. It just is what it is.
That's probably hard to achieve that low.
It's really hard. No, it should have been lower, but my international politics teacher really liked me because I cared. I wanted to understand things. I just wasn't good at the school part. And so he gave me a C, even though he failed a lot of people. And I didn't take the midterm. I didn't turn in my final paper, and I didn't go to the final exam.
And he gave me a C?
Yes, he did. And he looked at me on the last day and he said, Jackson, if you want to change a nation, educate a mom. And everything in me just lit on fire. And I was like, whoa, I don't even think he knew that I was raised by my mom and 5 older sisters. I was raised by all women who are phenomenal moms. And I knew the power of being a great mom, being a great dad, the importance of that. I was 9 years old when I wanted to become a dad. So my nephew was born. And I was like, what's a dad? What's a dad do? I started studying that. So anyway, I go to this, I do horrible in school. So I'm not ready for life. But I decided to go on a mission to Uruguay, and I go down there for 2 years, and I'm down there for 18 months when I'm walking down the road.
This was like a school program. You were in school still?
So no, I took a sabbatical from school to go on a mission for my church. So I'm down there helping people out. And there's this kid in this family that I'm teaching, and they're like the poorest of the poor, but he looks exactly like my oldest nephew. And so now it's becoming like really, really close to home. And one night he walks up to me, and I'm walking with 2 other people, and he says, can I have some bread? And this kid is starving. Like, we saw hunger, but he was starving. And here's my nephew starving. I've got nothing. And I have to send him home. And so he walks around me just completely deflated. I've let him down, and I am bawling silently while my other 2 people are walking with me, and it's like, we have to go through this all the time, but now it's my nephew, right, who I basically sent to die. And so I start breathing heavily. I look down. I'm like, okay, I got a white shirt and tie and nice slacks. I've got nice shoes. I've got a backpack that's nice. Like, why do I get all? I wanted to just rip it off. And so I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go to the rice fields. I'm going to make some money. I'm going to make enough money to open a little computer store here because they rent computers out, and that's those people seem to have nice houses. And I'm going to save this town. Whack! I mean, my face goes to the right-hand side, and I hear a voice that says, Jackson, why don't you go home, take advantage of your education for once in your life, learn about business, and help as many towns like this as you possibly can.
Okay. It was like a epiphany.
It was a pretty powerful epiphany. I mean, my face hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a call. And I was like, I mean, I didn't know that I was supposed to get into business. I was a basketball player, at heart. And played football as well. I was a second in state trumpet, it's like music as well, but I didn't really understand business, and that I was supposed to. So accidentally, no, I was just thrust into business where I was like, okay, I'll go home and figure it out. So I went home. And the BYU School of Business didn't laugh me out of the room, but they were like, you're not getting in, man. You got to mess this up, go change your degree. Right. And so I walked out and I was like, okay, I'm not going to get loans to get a degree that I'm not supposed to get. What do I do? And so I found network marketing. And when I found network marketing, I Success Magazine, Darren Hardy, John Maxwell, all these virtual mentors that I had no connection with, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all this stuff started to really indoctrinate me and help me to understand leadership and how to work in the business world. I was so successful in network marketing that after 8 months, I had racked up all my credit cards and they sent me a check for $8.37, I think.
Oof, well, that was better than the 0.37 GPA.
Yeah, it was. I know it was around $9. I think I shortchanged them a little bit, but that
Do you remember
process,
the companies that you were working with at that time?
Sure. We had just gotten endorsed by Donald Trump. With ACN. Right, we had the video phone.
Oh, I've heard ACN.
They had all the patents on video phones, and nothing was gonna. And the iPhone was already out. It's like what? But it was a wild and interesting ride. But what I learned in that experience was it had the same infrastructure that my mission did.
Okay.
And I started to see like, oh, wait a second, like, okay, it's important to have weekly meetings. It's important to learn how to recruit. It's important to learn how to talk about products and services too. It's important to learn how to lead and to balance a budget. There were so many educational realities that I gained out of that experience that helped me understand and build a foundation of infrastructure that so many entrepreneurs I see avoid, don't learn about, and think they're going to win. And so that took me on to my next several opportunities. But I don't know where you want to go with this, Mitch. So you're welcome to steer me in any direction.
I appreciate that. But that's a nice story about how you got thrust into the business world. So then you kind of got away from network marketing and you started doing other things, or?
Yeah. So eventually you run out of money, and so you run out of money.
You only had $9, so you couldn't have gone.
Your mom kicks you out of the house and is like, you got to get responsible with your life, and then you start to learn like, okay, well, maybe I should. So one of my mentors in that, his name was Vito Frescas. He owned the first car dealership. He was the first Latino to own a car dealership in the United States. Man, he'd sell you anything. But Vito, he was a really good guy, and he was mentoring me even though I wasn't on my team. And he was telling us a story about how when he was 14 years old and came to America, he went to a car dealership. He said car dealerships are never hiring. And he walked in and he said, look, I'm going to be your best salesman for the month. I know you got somebody here who can't sell. Fire them, give me their job. I'm going to be your best person. They hired him at 14. And sure enough, he was number one first month. Okay. Worked his tail off, knew through the hard knocks life of Mexico how to hustle and how to get after it. So I went into Lifetime Fitness, the big old gymnasium that was like the coolest place on the planet. And I pulled my Vito Fresco out and I went in and I said, hey, I'm going to be your best sales rep. I'm ready to do this. I've already turned in my online application. And that sales manager, she goes, nope. Have a good day. And I was like,
okay. Free. You were going to sell gym memberships?
Oh, yeah. I was going to sell gym memberships to the elite. Yep.
Big ticket item.
Big ticket, you know it. And so I was rejected by that. But I applied for like 4 different positions. So they called me up for birthday party coordinator. And so I go in interview for
at the gym, at Lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same Lifetime, like we have big Lifetimes up here.
That's it. That's
They're like
the
country clubs.
publicly
It's the same
traded
company.
Lifetime, $36 million fitness facility.
Got it.
Right.
Okay,
So
so now you're going to be the clown, the guy who dresses up for the birthday
exactly.
party.
I was like, yep, I can do this. I got 30 plus nephews and nieces. I'm well prepared. And sure
Okay.
enough, the area manager calls me to the office after my interview and he's like, birthday party coordinator, huh? And I'm like, crap, he's going to take my job away. Like, he's not going to let me do this. And I'm like, I love kids. I was like, yeah, of course. He's like, well, what are you doing full time? And I was like,
This is it.
Looking for a sales job. I was like, and he's like, why aren't you on my sales team? And I said, that's a great question.
You're like, well, they said no.
Yeah, I should have. I said that would have been the right move. But she told me she's not even interviewing. And so he's like, well, let me get you the interview. So then I go back to interview with her, and she's like this, man.
Yeah.
She's pissed. She don't want to see me at all.
You figured you probably set this up. You probably said something that got her in trouble or something, right?
Yeah. So he tells me in that, though, he tells me a secret that has been one of my greatest strengths of success for my entire career since then. And that is, he said, Jackson, I shouldn't admit this because it's an HR foul, but you're Mormon, aren't you? You're LDS? I said, yeah, I'm from the Church of Jesus Christ. And he said, I've hired a bunch of you, and you work hard. You're honest. You get after it. I can't teach people integrity, but I can teach you how to sell. And I was like, cool. And I was like, I know how to teach integrity too, which is really great. But when you've got people who are high integrity, and they are usually willing to get after it and work hard. So again, she didn't even interview me. She goes, well, let's go on a club tour. I'm not hiring right now though. So she took me on this really awkward club tour, came back to the office. He's like, how'd it go? And I'm like, I'm trying to play diplomatic. So I'm like, well, we had a good club tour. But she didn't ask me any questions. It's
not much of an
I'll call you. So he called me an hour later. It was just like, hey, I got you on staff at the other club across town. If you'd like that, and let's get you going. And Lifetime Fitness is not your ordinary gym. Out of all of the companies that I've trained with throughout my life, they have one of the absolute best sales training processes, as well as not just recruiting, but how they treat you, how they take care of you, the culture they've created. It is very hard to want to leave working in that environment because of just how state of the art it is. But they have everything down from the 5 questions you ask when people come in to when you're walking up the stairs, exactly what question to ask so that when people are at the top of the stairs, they're out of breath and thinking about their health, and you get them on an elliptical after that to show them how much better it is for their knees. Like, it is step by step by step, state of the art science.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're all over the nation.
Yeah. So you're Mormon, right?
Yep.
Did you have to go on one of those, I don't know, they call them a mission or whatever, pilgrimage? I don't know what they call it. I'm Jewish. I don't know.
Have to or get to.
Did you have to? Is that why you ended up down in South America?
Well, I got to ask, so have to or get to?
No. Do you get to? I guess it depends on how you look at it. No, have to. I mean, is it something you?
So one of the big things about the church is that free will. Freedom is everything. And so when we choose to do that, if you choose to go on a mission, you also choose to pay $10,000 for your 2 years.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And you choose to not talk to your family for nowadays it's different because of social media. You can talk. Right. Back then, we talked to our mothers on Mother's Day and Christmas, and that was it for 1 hour. Everybody else in the family, you write letters to on Mondays. You have a couple of hours to write letters in addition to all of the things you need to do to prepare for the week. And then you work over 100 hours a week, in that process. So it's a very, very
good work.
So I said that Lifetime Fitness is the best when it comes to sales. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has an amazing sales process. Yeah. The best business book I've ever read is called Preach My Gospel. It is a very, very good business book. And you sell God. That's what you do. You help people understand that. So I will say too, one of the big things, the secrets they use is the Franklin Covey planners. Yeah,
I know Franklin Covey. That's Stephen Covey is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right?
That's right. Yeah. So we use that planner for our daily and weekly planning sessions as companionships, as district leaders, which are like district managers. They become a zone leader, which is like a regional manager. All the things that we learned throughout that process. That's why a lot of LDS.
Are we talking about the church, or are we talking about Lifetime?
The church. That's all with the
The
church.
church uses that
Mhm.
system.
Yeah, so it's the fastest, one of the fastest growing churches in the world. But the key that I'm hitting on for all of you who are listening is that's why so many people who are members of the Church of Jesus Christ are excellent business owners like Mitt Romney, because they have that incubation and training period for 2 years where they're just dedicated to KPIs, helping people move their lives forward, tackling some of the greatest life's problems. How do you do it? Asking great questions.
Got it. But that's now, especially nowadays, more of a choice. Like you don't have to do that if you don't have the money.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
that's been a choice for a few hundred years, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. So, but that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that if you're Mormon and you go, that's probably a very good training ground, right?
Huge. Yeah. Training for life. Absolutely.
Yeah. So had you already gone on that when you came back and made the $8?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I don't know how much it did for you then. If you really
maybe it didn't do much for me.
The training as good as it was,
That's right.
Maybe
That's right. Really I think there's a I love that you're talking about. I love that you're having fun with this too. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite realities of life, one of the big switches that really helped me was when I stopped measuring my value based on external realities. I've seen a lot of people win in life that are, winning but losing. And at the same time, I've seen a lot of people who are losing in life like Job, right, where everything goes wrong for him. And my greatest lesson on Job's situation was not actually about Job. It's about the friends who decided to judge him from the outside and think that they knew what God was doing to Job and making him suffer. But in reality, some of the greatest opportunities in my life have come through some of my greatest adversities. Like, for instance,
that's usually the case, right?
Not being involved. It's like, because he wasn't involved, I spent every day and year looking at how do I become the best dad? What am I going to do for that? I got to watch other dads. I've got to pay attention to that. And so it gave me a bit of a tenacity and resilience that on the outside, no, I was the product of a situation where we're supposed to lose in life. Where you're from a divorced background. No way, you're not supposed to win with that. Oh, you come from abuse. You've been sexually abused. You've been abused mentally, spiritually, etc. You're not supposed to win. Right. Now that just gives you the opportunity to say, you know what, if I want results that are different than what everybody's getting that lives like me or has my experience, I've got to do things that other people aren't willing to do in order to move forward with it. So I love that you bring it up.
Yeah, and that's an interesting comment that other people are not willing to do. It's not that they can't, it's that they're not willing. I knew a guy in sales just years ago when I was younger, and he had adversity like everyone else. He had, problems with his marriage and his kids, and the economy was bad at the time, and he said he got all these problems, but I'm just choosing not to participate in the problems. Like, I'm not gonna let the economy affect me. If my marriage is falling apart, I'll do my best, but if it doesn't work out, and he became a very successful person, albeit I think your point is a good one. Sometimes success in our eyes from the outside is different than success from the inside. I think we measure that with the size of your house and the cars and the life you live. But at the end of the day,
sad.
That could be a product of being successful and being happy. But I think all the other stuff's got to come first. Like, who wants all that stuff if you're not happy and you have a terrible marriage and your kids don't talk to you? Like, none of that is worth it. And I've known people that have had, health problems as they got older in life, 50s. And I'm not talking old, I'm talking in their 50s, died young, would have traded everything that they've ever gotten as a reward for their success for their health. So I think a lot of that is, what's the word? Relative.
Perspective.
Personal experience. Perspective is a good word. Definitely perspective.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you're doing now with, because you've come a long way. So you're in Ecuador. Are you married?
I'm not. I'm twice divorced. Actually. Twice.
Well, you're not afraid of commitment. So do you have kids?
I do. I have 4 kids. I have 4 kids. I have a 14-year-old, an 11, a 9, and a 4-year-old.
And are they in the States or are they down with you?
They are in the States.
Okay. And are they all from different, half of them are from one house?
They're all from different, no, I'm just kidding. My first 3 are from my first marriage. We were married 8 years. She's a wonderful, wonderful mother to my children.
The new one is from your second.
And my youngest, yes, I got remarried to a lady from Mexico, another amazing mother to my child. And it takes 2 to tango in marriage. It's not easy for sure.
Hard.
The biggest lesson I think I learned in all of that was that the depths of learning to love or something, especially in English language. Love does not sound like a verb. Love sounds like something you receive, almost something you get. In Spanish, it's easier because you actually have to change the word to use it. But to learn to give love in different ways and to show up for people and be patient and kind and holding things there's a whole list of opportunities there. And so I really wish that my family situation had been something that I had been more prepared for, and even more dedicated. It was great. I was great at being a dad, but I hadn't done enough to really figure out the husband side of things and how to create healthy boundaries in a marriage. And so anybody's listening in, again, great book, Boundaries in Marriage, phenomenal insights.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think the trials we go through life, we're not like the preparation and the trial don't sync up.
Yeah.
We don't know when we need to be prepared. And usually we're prepared because of the experience we had. Failure, struggle.
It's huge.
Right.
Here's another big thing with that too. It's we're our first marriage, we were an Instagram family. We had blonde hair, blue eyed kids, which our demographics really, it's like, oh my gosh, they're perfect, and so of course our Instagram life, we weren't trying to hide anything, but it's not like you throw your dirty laundry out either. But when we got divorced and I started to go through my life's real heavy challenges as an adult, my friends and networks started to reach out to me and started to be like, how are you doing? Like, why are you okay? How are you living in peace? How are you going through this? And then it turns out they're all going through those things. I was almost useless to the world as an Instagram family. Nobody can relate to us. Everything was perfect. And so I'm not saying go seek your adversities if you want to be useful in the world, you want to help people. But what we weren't doing is we weren't really paying attention to what other people needed. And we had a bit of a void of life where it's like, you can only check so many bucket list items off before you start to feel like maybe there's more to life than this. Maybe there's more purpose. Maybe there's more fulfillment. And I wasn't really stepping into that call where I was supposed to help bridge the gaps of the economy for those who are in the less fortunate parts of the world. So God or life or the universe, whatever you want to call it, has a strange way, an interesting way of redirecting you back to, what it is that you're called to do. And so, again, if you're going through adversities right now, I hope that you can take heart and hope in realizing that there's people who are going through worse, and you can go and help them. Right. And that can fulfill you and help you have the peace and happiness that you may be looking for.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And I think a lot of people from the outside, right, it appears like everything's hunky-dory, life's great, right? But on the inside, we all struggle. And I think that the reality or the realization is a better word, that a lot of people go through these kind of struggles because we're not given you don't get married and they give you, they do give you a book, right? They give you a Bible, but it's not that well written.
No, it's not. It's not for what we need.
Yeah, it's not exactly a resource guide. So, it's more parable stories that you have to kind of apply to your life and figure out what they mean and whatever. We don't have those guides. We make the mistakes and we build the life. And I was just talking to somebody earlier at a show this morning. If we knew then what you know now, the decisions you made would have been different, but you wouldn't know it because you went through these experiences. It's impossible. Yeah. It really isn't. It's really impossible to, it's the chicken and the egg. You can't do it in different orders because it comes with experience. Now you go around, right? You help people, you lift them up, you clothe them, you feed them, you give them the opportunity to have better lives, and that fulfills you and maybe helps them along the way a little bit earlier in life than you were able to figure out, or I was able to figure it out. That's what we do. But I think ultimately you got to empower people too, right? To own their own decisions and to make decisions in their life. You can't tell your children, listen, I know what I'm talking about. This is what you got to do. You're going to make a mistake. They got to make mistakes. They got to learn. But, hopefully you help them avoid the bigger ones. Yep. Because they're still going to make the little ones, right? That's part of learning. I think you said it before, right? You learn more from adversity, much more from adversity than you do from success. Success is just waiting to be knocked off the perch, right? Yeah. And you don't even know, and you wouldn't even know what to do. You ever see these people? They're everything's working out for them. They're constant. Everything's going in the right direction. And seemingly so, and life just smacks them in the face with a 2x4, and they don't know what to do.
I've been there.
Resilient. They don't have the attitude. Yeah, but now you are resilient, right? Me too.
Yeah.
I've been through the fire, and my kids are like, I don't understand, Dad, how that doesn't bother you.
We've had some really, really cool things. And I want to hear about that though. You just went into a subject. I was like, well, wait a second. What do you tell them?
What do I tell my kids?
Yeah.
Well, as to how I deal with
things.
Does
that not bother you? Yeah.
Well, and some of this I can't teach, right? I mean, I've been doing this for 33 years. I've been solving other people's problems and my own. And I know, first of all, generally adversity in life is usually not as adverse as it appears at the outset, right? A deep breath, a calm mind, a different perspective changes things a lot. Oh, somebody here?
You're good. That's my prayer alarm. And so that goes off 2:30 every day. Just reminds me to get back to
2:30, 3:30 here. Yeah. Okay. So that's one of the things I think is that, things are not as adverse as they appear. I know that when, it's dark and bad things have happened, maybe you've lost a loved one or you got hurt or sick or made really bad financial decisions, whatever it is, the good thing about that is that the sun will rise another day. Like you can't keep getting worse.
Yeah.
It's just not the way life works.
Right.
The corollary is true too, right? If everything's going great and life is great, better duck the next time the sail's coming across the bow, right? Because it's just waiting to smack you in the face. So that's kind of my perspective, on things and the way that I deal with things in life. I have things happen all day, just like you do. For me, for clients, 9 times out of 10, by the end of the day, most of them resolve themselves. So I don't even give them a lot of let. But, to tell your children that is great, but they really have to learn that that's true. They have to say, you know what, Dad, you were right. A little bit later on.
Maybe. Hopefully we get that lucky, that blessed.
Yeah, I mean, look, I made all kinds of bad decisions in my life. My dad's been guiding me, helping me my whole life. Always had good advice, always had good, doesn't mean I followed what he told me to do. I mean, I didn't get a 0.737 in college. I got through that. Wasn't top of the class, but it was probably in, top third or something. But, I didn't do that stuff. I just kind of followed what they told me to do. But, it's hard to absorb when you're an adolescent. You just don't have the brain for it, I
think one of the favorite quotes I've heard in a movie was when in the movie Jobs, and Steve Jobs said, "We're going to make a dent in the universe." And my thought, I actually felt a little bit sorry for Steve Jobs in that moment, because I thought, I do that every day.
Yeah.
So all of you listening in, you don't have to be Steve Jobs to make a dent in the universe. The ripple effects of the little things that we do for people, whether it's lifting somebody up, whether it's telling somebody hello, whether it's looking at somebody in the street who gets ignored and just having a little conversation with them. There's so many ways that we can make a huge difference, a phenomenal, eternal impact, in my opinion. And so I just hope that nobody downplays I wish the world would stop downplaying all the good that we do. And I think that one of the challenges of that is social media, all the comparisons, right? It's like, okay, I play the trumpet, but now you put that darn social media trumpet player on. I feel like I don't even deserve to touch it. That's always been a hard thing for me. I was second in state trumpet.
Maybe you're getting your calendaring from one software and you're invoicing from another. Evenoo is a platform that we use as one of our sponsors to run our entire business. And there's other features like auto payments and integrations with QuickBooks. Visit evenoo.com, EVONUE.com to learn more. There's also a link in the show notes. And be sure to tell them that the Accidental Entrepreneur referred you. This podcast is brought to you by our affiliate sponsor, iEmployee. iEmployee is a virtual assistant service that hires almost anyone for any role in your company right out of the Philippines. Most roles range from $7 to $9 an hour for highly skilled and experienced VAs. And whether you need an executive assistant, social media manager, video editor, customer service, sales, you name it, they have it. We use iEmployee for our VA services, from editing and promoting the podcast to all the PR and promotion of our law firm. iEmployee acts as a virtual field supervisor on the back end with live video monitoring and reports on a daily basis with screenshots of your VA's workday, and along with complete HR and payroll duties. No more paying for overpriced and underqualified workers. There's a link in the show notes to get a 1-week free trial, and I encourage you to take advantage of it.
I quit.
That's very good. Because you weren't first?
because I knew that if I wasn't first, even at my level in my state, there's no way I was great in any other state, and there's no way there would be room for me in this world. I had such a bad inferiority complex and condition of thinking like, oh, you have to be the best in order to win. I think I was 30 when I finally realized that I need to be my best. I don't need to compare to anybody else. I just need to appreciate what I have and do what I do best and be grateful for that. And it was a good learning experience. I was like, dang, why did LeBron James figure this out so young? How come I didn't figure this out earlier? I was like, let's do it.
One really good fucking basketball player,
For real.
Yeah.
he works on being his best. He's always trying to beat his own next record. And so when I finally dawned on me, I was really thinking about what would LeBron James do. And I was like, okay, I'm going to run this track path, even though nobody's here, nobody's watching. I'm going to do it for me. And that was a huge shift.
It's your own goal and objective. It doesn't have to be. I think that's a learning about life too. When you get out there and you realize that, you know what, you can be a really good trumpet player. And you probably are to 99% of the world. You're thinking about the 1 or 0.1% of the people that you can't be. And that's crazy.
It was crazy. It's crazy. It's such a deception. It's so debilitating. And it is, again, it's so nice to get to that other side where you can finally really appreciate, like, no, I got value here. In fact, I'm playing my first concert for the guitar and singing tomorrow.
Really?
They asked me to do that tomorrow. So I was like,
nice.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Some people won't appreciate this, but the ones who will, like that's the ones that it matters for, and it'll be fun. So.
Yeah. You mentioned before about little changes. There's a word in Japanese. I think it's called kaizen about little changes make a huge difference. And if everybody just adjusted a little bit, like the whole world would be different.
Mm.
You don't have to
1 minute manager style.
Right. You don't have to make a huge change and a huge this. We don't really deal well with huge changes anyway. So, you know what I mean? Like if somebody says, I'm going to get in shape. I joined Lifetime and I'm going every day of the week. 3 weeks from now, they're going to be off the wagon because it's too much.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, it all depends on your own personal mindset, right? Gary Keller wrote a book. I'm sure it's great called the One Thing.
I hate
it with passion.
The president
I love Gary Keller. He's taught a lot of great things, but somebody once told LeBron James, and people tell me that all the time, like, why don't you just focus and why don't you read the one thing? Why don't you read the one thing? And I laugh. I'm like, a reporter once told LeBron James, why don't you just shut up and dribble?
Right.
You know how wrong they were? You know how infamous they are now because they decided to challenge LeBron? I mean, this guy's a billionaire now with all sorts of companies, all sorts of depth, and it has nothing to do with focusing on one thing. He is great at one specific thing, but he's great at so many other things
That's
too.
What got him to all the other things, right?
Goodness. So anyway, I think it's to each of us, right? It's we are the visionaries of our own life, which is why we have a podcast called Vision Pros Live. We interview visionary leaders because I used to be a lot more like Grant Cardone. I used to kind of control people's visions and say, you should do this. You have to do this. Let me put you into subordination and tell you what to do. Like that. I was kind of like that. And I had to learn the hard way that, I'm ruining my best relationships by trying to accidentally control people. And who am I? I'm not God. Who am I to tell you what's best? And I told J.K. Rowling, your napkin book idea is stupid. You should be writing this with a course with Chandler Bolt and self-publishing. Like that would not have helped J.K. Rowling. She's a billionaire because she followed her intuition and she didn't allow strategists to get in her way as she went about her own strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh. I love philosophical conversations. That's what's great about all these podcasts is that we can we can have really good intellectual conversations that can hopefully help people to change their perspective, which is word of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
To change their perspective on, what they're dealing with that day. In this case, the business podcast. So what kind of business decisions they're making today? And maybe they could do it a little bit better. And, like you said, build an infrastructure. Right? Somebody just turned me on to that book, Who Not How.
Yeah.
She's a big real estate mogul down in Florida, has a big company, and she follows Strategic Coach and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Great book because it is right. That's the shortcoming. I can do the idea of an entrepreneur is me being able to do it all myself. That's a myth.
Yeah.
That's a misnomer.
Oh, it's a myth. The E-Myth is the E-Myth's one of the greatest books of all time as well.
Right,
Simon Sinek wrote a great book, Start With Why, but I agree with you, Mitch.
Yeah.
I would have never cared about Start With Why if I didn't care about who Simon Sinek was and is.
Right.
So that who is massive. And I feel bad for the entrepreneurs who say, I have a virtual assistant or my virtual assistant's going to do that. I'm like, okay, you're one step away from the entrepreneur level. But the infrastructure, this is why the E-Myth exists. And Michael Gerber says, you got that one person, you overwork them, they build systems out, eventually they leave or they die or they move on. Whatever happens, now you have a whole process of challenges on your hands because you don't know what procedures, resources, and templates they created. And next thing you know, that silo you've created, what happens if you build a silo too large? It's going to eventually tip and fall over. So it is very important to value collaboration. I just interviewed today Chad T. Jenkins. He may be the best guest I've ever interviewed. And that's not to diss the 2,000 plus that we've had on the show. The guy understands collaboration. He lives it, breathes it. Phenomenal individual. So big shout out to him. And
it's all about lifting each other up, right?
Yep.
You don't have to do it alone.
No, absolutely not. We want to build cultures where collaboration is the key. So
there's something funny. So I saw Michael Gerber speak once. Probably the years when only the E-Myth existed, right? There wasn't all these E-Myths for lawyers and E-Myths for this.
Revisited.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. I saw him speak. And I was younger at the time. And I remember that he would curse so much. And I curse, I think, right? And it shocked me.
No idea.
There was like this business conference and he's doing this and saying it was just, and my friend started to giggle. He was laughing. He's like, I was like, why are you so funny? Because I didn't think he'd be cursing so much. And I thought it was very funny, because we go out and I don't have a problem with it. But I just remember to this day.
Went off the cliff with it for a while.
It was shocking.
Yeah. Well, I watched the I'm Not Your Guru by Tony Robbins back in the day. That made a big difference in my life. That's when I learned that I wasn't being the greatest husband. And that's when I decided to start working on that and doing the best that I could for it. But Tony cursed so much and Gary Vaynerchuk cursed so much that I was finally like, you know what? I understand this jarring effect and started to do it. And I realized it's just not, that's not for me. That's not what I want to do. But
I guess,
it's language. I speak Spanish a lot.
College, we curse all the time. My kids come home and my wife's like, what's the matter with the kids? Why? Because they're saying the F word all the time. I said, well, because when you get to college and you're in a dorm, that's how you communicate, right? You're away from your parents, do whatever you want, talk whatever foul mouth things come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
But, you get to be 50 or 60 years old. You're like, it's enough already. So it's funny that it's not my nature either.
It's just language. It's language, though.
You want to get the point over. Yeah.
It may be one of the best the key is
language, right?
Do you recognize, it's like, do you recognize your audience? And so I live in Ecuador. Yeah. I speak Spanish fluently. I certainly have to put conditions around helping people realize that I'm not fluent because they think I'm fully fluent, but I have the fluency of about a 14-year-old. And so so again, the challenge in all of this, and I'm very religious. And so my religion's super anti using certain words, groseria in Spanish.
Most religions are, sure.
But it's, how can you relate to those who grow up in the hood if you don't speak the language that makes them feel comfortable and helps them understand it? But how do I make sure to confine and respect that dialogue? Just like, again, I'm not going to go up to somebody in Spanish and speak English. How rude is that? I'm going to go speak Spanish with them. And like I said, you got to be careful when you become fluent because I don't understand innuendos and I don't understand the double meanings. And so when I use something that's a double meaning, holy crap. Talk about pissing people off. And they will not give you the benefit of the doubt. You're not 14, you're 38.
Right. They don't know that you're only.
It's very dangerous. You have to be quite careful.
English is even worse. We have more double meaning. You don't realize there's an English.
Mexico only speaks in double meanings. Just to be fair, Mexico only speaks in double meanings.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
That's a very hard culture.
At that level, your understanding of the language and your fluency, if somebody's talking very fast, right, and using a lot of colloquialisms, it's hard to follow, right?
It used to be. I've gotten to where I get it now, but and every country is different. So Panama, Spanish, it's really, really different. Like every word is almost different. So Panama, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Peru, I can only speak for these, and here in Ecuador and in Uruguay, right? But they're all different. And they use, like, for instance, the word cake. For us, like everybody in English gets that word, even if you're in Ireland, probably is my guess. But in Uruguay, it's torta. Here it's pastel. In Puerto Rico, it's bizcocho. Right, and then all those words have different meanings in the other countries. And so you have to remember it's really strange to learn Spanish.
That's a good experience.
So let me do us a favor. So accidental entrepreneurship. I know everybody here is entrepreneurship. I think it's very important to know the next path, because I ended up going to Google, interviewed 4 times, getting told no because of the degree situation. Kids, get your degree. It's important and it helps. And they told me to get enterprise sales experience. So I end up on Craigslist, and I end up going to work for this little bitty company called Scene Interactive, doing newspaper, like technology stuff. They're out of a garage in Pflugerville. I just wanted the position so I could work at Google. Well, within 2 weeks, we were invested in by Matt Cutts and Paul Buchheit. Matt Cutts is the search director of Google. Paul Buchheit's the inventor of Gmail. And we became a Y Combinator. And so I shouldn't have said invested. We ended up burning out of cash within 6 months. And I came back to work even though I was laid off. And Lloyd was pissed at me for coming to work. He thought I was going to be a liability. I was like, no, I'm going to make my sales. And I closed 21 newspapers that month. And we hadn't had 7 in 7 years. And so it was $32,000 in transaction, a 30% cut with these newspapers, but it proved the concept. And so 2 weeks later, Paul Buchheit and Matt Cutts sent us $10 million. And you can read about that company in a $100 million offer by Alex Ramosi. He talks about Lloyd's scenario of switching with COVID and all that. But that company gave me the opportunity to understand startups and fall in love with startups. Then I went and founded Restaurant Connect with Adam Christopher, where I became the junior co-founder of a system where we were competing with OpenTable. And we eventually, 3 years into that, we raised we were at 36,000 recurring monthly revenues. Then we raised $100,000 with the Bay Angel Network. And my buddy Jake calls me and says, Jackson, you're the most critical person I've ever met, and I need your advice. And I apologized. I was like, dude, I know it was really bad. You on the mission, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I need your advice. So like, I'm about to launch a company. I don't know if I should do it. So well, what's your story? He said, well, the founder of YouTube called me on the phone and asked me to represent YouTube ads. And I was like, what? Like, how do you get your number? And he's like, I don't know. But he called me and 9 other people to come out to headquarters. They're about to launch the advertising platform. And he had driven Zag to 23 million subscribers on YouTube. And so he was part of the team that decided if the advertisement sucks, you should be able to skip it after 5 seconds. And so then he turns around and turns into a course called Turn Your Views into Sales. And so I told him, I said, I'm going to destroy this course, right? And he said, yeah, I figured. And so I destroyed his course, gave it back to him. I said, Jake, you've got to run with this. Like, nobody's crowned an ambassador of YouTube. It's a closed program. He called you on the phone directly. Your story's larger than life. You've got a product that everybody's going to need in the future. This was back in 2014 or so. And so I said, but don't forget me. Don't forget me. So Jake did something that completely humiliates me, but not to humiliate me. He didn't use a dang thing that I gave him. I gave him 40 worth of work, and he launched, and I ate crow. He immediately was within 6 months, he was contacted by Ryan Dice, put on stage at Traffic and Conversion Summit, and called the YouTube ad expert of the world. And
that was before they were even owned by Google, right?
What was that?
That was before they were even owned by Google, right?
Yes,
2014.
That's correct. So 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 he's put on stage for that, and he had Vivint and Carell, and he had John Lee Dumas, so Entrepreneur on Fire as a client, Dan Martell as a client. All these people start coming to Jake, and I'm watching. I learned that progress is far better than perfect. And here we were at Restaurant Connect, fine dining, trying to be perfect in everything that we did. And so then a couple years later, after a couple more startup failures or ventures and things, and just trying to hang in there, I sent Jake the worst cover letter in the world, saying, I'm really jealous of the time you spent with your daughter. I want more balance in life. I'd love to help you grow. If you would like me to help, I'd be happy to. If not, just send my information to somebody who's got your balance, brother. I basically begged him for a job. And he said, let's do it, homie. And he flew me out to headquarters. It was him and 2 interns. And that was it. And they had 70,000 people per month coming to the website. And as I said, they had those names working. They had REI Success Academy, they had Fortune Builders, Shapiro and Share. They had realtruck.com, yahoo.com, Vivint, all these amazing companies. They'd worked with Travis Chambers, who produced the #1 YouTube ad of the decade with Kobe Bryant and Lionel Messi on Turkish Airlines. They worked on campaigns with Daryl Eves of Squatty Potty. They did some of the most viral campaigns of all time. The Nordic Track campaign did a 32-to-1 return. What was it? 15,000 spent on ads and $450,000 in treadmills sold by people clicking directly on the ad. They didn't even know how to track attribution beyond that. So I got to go into this company with all of my grinded out hustle mentality, road warrior, all the baloney stuff of business,
right,
and go into this viral environment where they had these secret sauces, where if you pour these secret sauces onto your campaigns, you can create irresistibility, where you have supply and demand in your favor finally. It was the coolest experience to get behind the scenes on that, start to learn about funnels and see funnels where people are spending $10,000 per month on YouTube ads, in addition to 50 to 100,000 plus on others. And so getting to see all of that opened my eyes to an entire new scenario. And I brought infrastructure to the table for Jake to scale, while he helped me see, here's how you really take off like a rocket ship. But you need to have that authority and credibility to be able to sustain that type of growth, or you might end up going to prison too. So I'm very careful about who we actually bring on at First Class Business and who we want to work with, because it is not fun to scale somebody virally who ends up botching fulfillment because they aren't truly dedicated to consistency, reliability, persistence, patience, and love. And so go to those virtues, check out Video Power, all the names that I dropped. Why do I do it? Because I learned from them. Those are my heroes. Those are the giants that I get to stand on. I stand on their shoulders to win.
Right. I would say pick one person a month to learn from when you're young.
That's cool.
A lot of places. Yeah, right?
That's really cool.
So what are you doing with Vision Pros and everything now?
Yeah, so our umbrella company is called First Class Business. We would have named it Hyper Growth Marketing if we wanted to be multimillionaires fast and burn the world. But we don't believe in that hype culture, all the grind it out and hustle. I wanted to set a standard where we could not provide second-class service. Right? People come to us, they expect a certain outcome. And so we provide what businesses want while also helping them understand what it is they need. And we have a whole suite of providers, because at Video Power, when we were running campaigns for Lewis Howes for the School of Greatness, we got put in a room with the LinkedIn expert of the world, the TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, etc. What I did was I went and opted into everybody's funnels. I was like, why would I not want to learn from all these gurus? Then I started to train people in India and Pakistan and the Philippines. Hey, you want to learn from John Loomer about ads? Oh, now Nicholas Therio. Golly, that guy's great at ads on Facebook. And we want to learn from Rick Mulready about this. We want to learn from Josh Rossi about full-time photography, right? All these different people became little black books that, yeah, sure, when we have clients that can spend 6 figures, 7 figures on campaigns, we can go to the Harmon Brothers for sure. But if we don't, let's incubate and train others how to do these things that live in other countries. And so now I predominantly build in Oportunidades Latinas, opportunities for Latinos. I build through Central and South America, where they're on our time zone. ChatGPT takes care of any language barriers whatsoever. They can work and learn the same. And the scale of economy down here is far more affordable than the Philippines, and India is as well. And so when Verizon's only hiring people in Colombia for $350 per month full-time salary, there's a lot of things that you can do to bless people's lives down here, change their economic realities, give them opportunities, and build. And we help these entrepreneurs get established with the right types of infrastructures, but starting with projects like they want a website or they want lead gen, that stuff's easy. What's not easy, again, is creating the entire bridge that works for growth. So First Class is the umbrella. Opportunities is the program that we use to help people gain work experience and develop job skills. VisionProsLive.com. If you're a visionary out there, come and join us on that show. We love starter visions. You don't have to be as awesome as Mitch to come on the show. Mitch, of course, I want you on there as well. You got a lot of experience.
Come on.
And then we've got the BeYourBestShow.com. Be Your Best Show is a brand new show. That's where I take people to the next level on the interview. And we do like what you do, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I want to know the details, like what really drives success and what variables should people plan around, because there's too many programs out there. I'll pick on the Boss Babes. I'm not trying to hate on it, but what really hurts my feelings for others is that some of these women, their husbands pay for their business, or their fathers pay for their business on their credit cards, but their audience, they're selling to single moms. Right. And these single moms get in thinking they're going to have the same level of success, but the success you're seeing isn't actually success. It's somebody getting money with something else, and there's no authenticity on it. Or the marketing bros, right, who don't own their sunglasses, they bought it with a credit card, they don't own the car they're standing in front of, and they're churning through customers left and right. But the general pop has a strange tendency to believe 1,000 testimonials that say this guy's awesome. was like, why is he awesome? What did he do for you? Where are you at now?
Right.
Oh, well, I'm affiliate. So if I can be a JV and eventually sell this thing called a ClickFunnels,
I know people
make some
buy.
money, but
Jackson, people buy into franchises. I can't believe they do. You ever wake up in the middle of the night? You see those guys, the real estate guys on his boat with good-looking women and people. There's always somebody who buys into this stuff.
Yeah,
and does that mean that nobody can be? I mean, let's put the shysters aside, right? Does that mean that nobody can be successful or learn from them?
Here's the challenge on it, Mitch.
Always somebody.
Here's the challenge, though. 96% of businesses, this is a 100-year stat from Inc., from the Small Business, Business Administration. 96% lose within 10 years. Right. 4%, I used to think were successful, but I've consulted for long enough, they're surviving.
That's what I said. Even I think it's 80% of 5 years. That doesn't count the ones that are struggling. Mm-hmm. They got through the fire and are still struggling and trying to make, and their
families are jaded, right? Their kids didn't get the time with the parents. It's not the American dream, and I'm not here to poo-poo on that. No, I'm actually an optimistic realist. I know that what I have to do, just like I had to do with overcoming my childhood background, I have to figure out what are the variables. I have to figure out what are the secrets to success. And I can't just follow the successful ones, because some of the successful, I don't want percentage, but some of them are manipulating and coercing people, and that's how they're winning. Others are doing it ethically and with the types of behaviors that I want. So as Tribal Leadership wisely pointed out, less than 2% of people ever make it to the tribe, or companies ever make it to the tribe, that believes life is great. What that means is they've passed the life of my life sucks. I am great, but you are not. We are great, but they are not. They always come together and correlate. I love that book. The people who believe life is great, they don't see you as competition. They see you as potential friends. They see the opportunity to pull 1 and 1 together to equal 11. Not 1 minus 1 equals 0.
I know. Well, that's the problem with the world, right? We're all battling each other. We're all comparing and saying, xenophobia, and you can't get, and you come here, we're going to charge you, and you're hurting me by you doing that. But if everybody, I always felt that if everybody came from the perspective of abundance,
yes,
right,
yes,
and giving and sharing, and if everybody made the attempt to be on the short end of the giving stick, not the long one, we would all be fighting to help each other.
Right.
It would be the opposite of what we do now.
Love what you said.
It's kind of the irony of life, if you think about it, right? Because the irony of life is that if you flip the whole thing about all this crap that's going on in the world right now, what would the world look like if everybody was fighting to help each other as opposed to hurt each other? If you and I were like, Jackson, I'm going to do more for you than you do for me. No. Huge. I'll do more for you than you do for me.
Let's do it, Mitch. We're going for it. We're going for it.
It's intuitive. It makes sense.
We're setting it. We're setting it. We're doing it right. We're going to do it right now. I'm going to beat you at this.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Let's make it happen.
Right? And if you did that,
what do you need, Mitch? What do you need? Come on, man. Right? Hit us with it. What do you need? What can we do for you?
I want more people to tune into what we're talking about.
Oh, dude, we got that down then. Audience, you and I, we can do this, man. Let's build Mitch up. He's already done so much to build us up today. Let's make it happen. We got a debt to him now.
Yeah, I never really paid attention to that because I just, and it is coming. I just want to put out good content, share good ideas, and help other people. And it all comes, back. I have colleagues that are like, you shouldn't be putting that stuff out there. What are you going to teach them how to be a lawyer? I'm like, what? You think that they're going to go be lawyers on their own because I'm educating people and helping? That's not going to happen. It hasn't happened in, 33 years of practice. But it's
that's right.
It's funny. It's a little comical if you think about it.
Yeah.
People actually have their perspective.
That's scarcity, right? Exactly. We're conditioned.
I want from you so you can have, and
right.
We don't have to live in look, there are things that are scarce, right? We don't treat them like the right kind of resources.
I love what Robert Kiyosaki opened my eyes to it. I'm super grateful for it because he said, there's enough oxygen in the world. There is, and there's enough water, but if your family chose to live in a place where there's not water, you chose to live by the ocean, and you're complaining about hurricanes. I was like, what are you doing? There's things that you've got to be willing to change and adjust if you don't want certain consequences. But we do have enough of the resources that we need, and we just don't believe it sometimes. And you're right, it is comical.
I know, it's crazy. So Anyway, what is the best way? I mean, we'll connect, and I'll get on Vision Pros, one of the shows that you guys are doing, and we'll keep working together and doing great stuff. But people that are listening, what's a good way for them to get involved in your world, learn from what you're doing, see all the things? What's the best way to connect with you?
That's a great question. I think based on where you're at, if you're on Facebook, I'm on Facebook. If you want to Google me, my SEO is phenomenal. I'm the only Jackson Calame on the planet, so I was gifted perfect SEO. Right. Yeah. So you can find me on there, but Vision Pros as well. If you're really looking to get after it and get your vision out there in life, or you're exploring that, please join us on visionproslive.com. Come and share your vision. We want to be able to help you help the others. And that's one of the coolest experiences, just getting to hear how you're making an impact in the world.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Jackson, I can't thank you enough. It's 4:00 here, almost dinner time. You got an hour behind me, so you got a little bit more time. Take care of people down there. Keep spreading the good word and doing good things for people. I can't thank you for putting an hour aside for me. I'm flattered.
Likewise.
All right.
Where's the... There we go. In addition to being a podcast host, I'm also a small business attorney, mostly providing legal services in New York and New Jersey. With over 3 decades of experience, we can handle most transactional issues. So if you're watching the show and you encounter some sort of legal issue, reach out to us and visit our website, mindhackerlaw.com. Thanks for tuning into the show and for continuing to support us.